vision or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Michelle. For the next hour, I will be reading from the July 12th issue of the Home Style and Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Cover story. It's a great year for the Emmys. The Pit and Hacks lead a strong slate, but there are plenty of worthy nominees to go around. Stephen Colbert was celebrated for his final season of CBS The Late Show, with 9 Emmy nominations, setting up a dramatic moment when the winners are announced in about 2 months. John F. Kennedy Jr. was snubbed, or at least the actor playing him was ignored by voters. Apple TV Plus has multiple reasons to celebrate all the votes of the streaming service received for its freshman series. Welcome to the 2026 nominations, which were announced Wednesday. The Television Critics Association nomination recently announced foreshadowed most of the shows and stars nominated by members of the Television Academy who vote on the Emmys. There are so many worthy nominees that we will walk away with an Emmy will be too close to call. If there's one thing that everyone can agree on, it's that it's been a great year for streaming. The Emmy nominations followed the usual script of rewarding pay cable and streaming shows, which play by different rules than network television, and dominated the nominations. HBO Max received 122 nominations, Netflix 111, Apple TV Plus 87, and Prime Video 28. The only network primetime series to get significant love was the ABC comedy Abbott Elementary, which annually is celebrated. It was nominated as Best Comedy and earned a Best Comedy Actress nomination for Quinta Brunson in a category Jean Smart, played by Hacks, owns. Tyler James Williams and Janelle James also earned supporting actor nominations for Abbott. There were a few disconnects between the Emmy voters and the TCA, of which I am a member, along with more than 200 critics nationwide and in Canada. The Canadian series, originally carried on Crave north of the border and later grabbed by HBO Max, Heated Rivalry received numerous TCA nominations, including Program of the Year, and as Outstanding New Program. It wasn't eligible for Emmy nominations because it was entirely produced in Canada. The critics didn't worry about that and nominated the show's co-stars, Connor Story and Hudson Williams. Story did receive an Emmy nomination for hosting Saturday Night Live. Perhaps the biggest Emmy surprise was the Best Drama nomination for the Apple TV Plus series Your Friends and Neighbors, headlined by Jon Hamm, about a rich guy who began stealing from his neighbors. Even though I thoroughly enjoyed the twists and turns and recommended it, that nomination surprised me. However, it has a next to zero chance of stealing the award. I smiled at the writing nomination for an episode of the hysterically funny Jury Duty Presents Company Retreat on Prime Video, which I did throughout the 8 is a worthy nominees episodes. I recommended the Laugh Out Loud series in a column last week, but all TV critics don't think alike, and I didn't agree with all the choices and snubs. I was surprised that Michelle Pfeiffer wasn't nominated for her role as a widow in Montana in the movie The Madison, which was unlike any other Taylor Sheridan Yellowstone series. However, Pfeiffer and star Elle Fanning were nominated for their roles as mother and daughter in Apple TV Plus's Margot's Got Money Problems, written for television by Pfeiffer's husband David Kelly. I wasn't a fan of the Apple TV Plus series Widow's Bay, a horror comedy starring Matthew Rhys as a mayor of a New England coastal resort town where strange things are happening. It received 19 nominations, including one for Best Comedy. Putting it in the comedy category appears strange to me. I didn't find it funny, although there are several oddball characters in it. It was no surprise that HBO Max's The Pit, 25 nominations, and Hacks, 24, or that 5 Apple TV Plus series made that streaming service a big winner. It produces much fewer shows than its competitors and has to be thrilled by the nominations for Shrinking, 9, Slow Horses, 9, and the new critical darlings Margot's Got Money Troubles, 8, Pluribus, 18, and Widow's Bay, 19. Reeves was nominated as lead actor in a comedy for Widows and as lead actor in a limited series for the excellent Netflix series The Beast in Me, in which he played a monstrous character. He sure is a versatile actor. His wife, Carrie Russell, also was nominated for her role in the Netflix political drama The Diplomat. The 7 nominations for the FX series Love Story John F. Kennedy, Carolyn Bessette, was a minor surprise considering all the backlash it received for manufacturing details and dialogue. Sarah Pidgeon was brilliant and believable in her role as Bessette and deserved her nomination in an extremely loaded lead actress in a limited series category that includes Claire Danes, Netflix, The Beast in Me, Sally Fields, Netflix, Remarkably Bright Creatures, Carey Mulligan's Netflix, Beef, and Sarah Snook, Peacock's It's All Her Fault. Good luck picking a winner in that category. Paul Anthony Kelly was cast as JFK Jr., more for his looks than for his acting ability, and was justifiably ignored by the voters. He wasn't the only actor to be ignored while his co-host was nominated. Martin Short was nominated for Only Murders in the Building. Steve Martin wasn't. Since they are joined by the hip, you almost wonder if Martin declined to be nominated. There isn't one sure thing when the Emmy Award airs September 14th on NBC and Peacock. Not even Colbert's Show, which is nominated in the Variety Series category. I'm pretty sure that Jon Stewart, John Oliver, and Jimmy Kimmel, whose late night shows are all nominated in the same category, would even vote for Colbert after his show's controversial cancellation. But that might not be enough. As usual, Jimmy Fallon's show wasn't nominated. Critics apparently think Widow's Bay is even funnier than the Tonight Show host. Music. An Evening with Taj Mahal. Photos by Harry Skull Jr. Legendary blues musician Taj Mahal performed Tuesday night at Ashbury Hall with his Phantom Blues Band. At 84, the 5-time Grammy Award winner and 17-time nominee continues to reshape the definition of the music genre by incorporating elements of reggae, calypso, jazz, deco, and gospel into his performance. He has been touring with his Phantom Blues Band for more than 3 decades. Pictures of musician Taj Mahal performing. Entertainment. Munch merch. Here's how movie popcorn buckets became the hottest new collectible. By Greta Cross. Gone are the days of munching on popcorn from a basic paper tub. Today, moviegoers are eating out of R2-D2, Shrek's outhouse, and even a sandworm from Planet Arrakis. Nearly every blockbuster release is promoted with at least one popcorn bucket, looking to show up the ones that came before. For many, the trend began with the Dune Part 2 Sandworm bucket, released in 2024. The popcorn pail, topped with a replica of the giant sandworms of Planet Arrakis, made customers reach their hands through the sandworm's teeth to dish out popcorn from inside. The bucket quickly went viral for its not safe for work suggestiveness. Since the sandworm, several other buckets have gone viral, many for suggestive designs. Months after Dune Part 2, Ryan Reynolds collaborated with AMC to release a meme-worthy popcorn bucket for the release of Deadpool and Wolverine. Shaped like a Wolverine's head, the bucket features a gaping, wide mouth to hold popcorn. Years from now, they will look back at 2024 as the year of the War of the Popcorn Buckets began, Reynolds said while promoting the bucket. Other popular popcorn buckets released in recent years include the $80 LED Galactic Bucket for the Fantastic Four, First Steps, and $20 swappable popcorn bucket and cup for Freakier Friday, both released in July 2025. The $45 Alamo Drafthouse Cinema exclusive Godzilla head bucket that sold out in December 2025, and the $40 bright red handbag for The Devil Wears Prada 2 in May. Buckets can go for even more on the secondhand market. Originally sold by AMC Theaters for $25, the Dune Part 2 bucket is listed for up to $185 on sites like eBay. While theaters often set purchasing limits, buckets are still poached in bulk and resold online. When purchased on the AMC website, the newly sold out Toy Story 5 Buzz Lightyear Spaceship Popcorn Bucket was $47. Customers were limited to 3 buckets per order, but on eBay the bucket is selling for $65 to $110. How are these buckets made, and do the high-priced collectibles really bring in money? A collector, theater companies, and manufacturers share the scoop on the popcorn bucket evolution. Why are popcorn buckets having a moment? The virality of collectible popcorn buckets is driven by fandom and business strategy. They are the physical manifestations of a memory. These are the concert t-shirts of moviegoing, said Nell Storm, AMC Theaters Vice President of Food and Beverage Product Strategy. In recent years, she said, popcorn buckets also have become a part of many moviegoers' premiere weekend routines, snagging tickets to the latest release and purchasing their favorite merchandise that pairs with it. Jonathan Jovel, a Star Wars content creator known online as the Jedi Collector, said he believes popcorn buckets are having a moment because they appeal to a vast community of collectors and folks who just want to be part of something trendy. As a collector, Jovel said the most he has spent on popcorn buckets for one movie was nearly $200 for The Mandalorian and Grogu. Between movie theaters and Disneyland, he spent $75 on Regal's popcorn bucket, $40 for a Grogu bucket, $30 for a square tin box and keychain set, and $30 for Disneyland's BDX droid bucket. Alamo Drafthouse Cinema Chief Marketing Officer Chaya Rosenthal said the theater chain initially considered popcorn buckets merely a fad, but as the buckets continued to be popular, Alamo decided to hop on the bandwagon. Rosenthal said Alamo has been seen successful releasing popcorn buckets for anniversary titles. When consumers can stream at home, limited edition merchandise helps bring people into the theater. Rosenthal said in addition to the sentimental value popcorn buckets provide to fans, theater companies may be eager to hop on the trend because of intellectual property licensing. Categorizing merchandise under the umbrella of concessions often provides theaters with easier access to distinguished IP, she said. Depending on each studio and IP holder, concessions give you a different consumer products category, she said. When you start saying it's vessel for concession, it allows some studios to give you access to that IP that may have been a little more challenging if you were to say you are going into consumer products and creating a figurine. While a product like an action figure relies on long-term licensing and investments for mass marketing, concessions rely on rapid, short-term licensing. The theaters are providing a limited window to market and sell a product like a popcorn bucket. What popcorn buckets are on the horizon? With more blockbuster films on the way, the war of over-the-top popcorn buckets doesn't appear to be stopping anytime soon. The most recent viral collectible was Cinemark's popcorn bucket and drink cup for Spider-Man Brand New Day, which hits theaters July 31st. The combo container features Spider Man's iconic hand gesture with his web shooter coming from the wrist, but some fans think the translucent design looks less like webbing and more like a not safe for work liquid. AMC IMAX camera shaped popcorn bucket for the release of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey also garnered traction, with the director himself impressed by the design. Available for $50 before it's sold out, the bucket features a light up viewfinder with stills from the movie. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the July 12th issue of the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Things to do. Studio Gillespie Film Festival and Chalk Fest Old Home Days. Studio Gillespie Film Fest and Chalk Fest continues today, Sunday, at the North Park Theater. Sunset at the Stables, 5 to 8 p.m. Fridays in July at Knox Farm State Park, Buffalo Road, East Aurora. Knox Farm State Park is the picturesque backdrop for this concert series, presented by 42 North Brewing. There will be some seating, but bring a chair or a blanket if you like. Food and drinks will be sold, so no outside alcohol, food, or coolers are permitted. Rosie's Handcrafted Ice Cream, Blue Eyed Baker, and Sip Society Mocktail and Coffee Bar will be at all the events. Old Home Days, Tuesday through Friday in Island Park, Main Street, Williamsville. Annual Summer Festival has daily activities starting at 4, a midway from noon to 4 daily, and a beer tent opening at noon. A parade leaves Williamsville South High School at 6:32 Tuesday. Music is 7 to 11 with Nerds Going Wild on Tuesday. The Funkensteins on Wednesday. Hit and Run on Thursday and Flipside on Friday. Wolf Top Happy Hour, 500 Pearl Street, 4 to 7 Tuesday at Patrick's Rooftop. Enjoy a cocktail and the view while helping animals. $1 from every drink will be donated to Buddy's Second Chance Rescue, which will also have adoptable dogs at the event. Community Day, 3 to 7 Thursday, Martin Luther King Park, intersection of Fillmore and Best Street. Free family-friendly celebration with games, a kids zone, free hot meals, and fresh produce, music, and entertainment. There will be free giveaways for the kids, including bikes and backpacks. It's hosted by Trusted Gives in partnership with Dion Dreamers. Buffalo Speaks, 6 p.m. Thursday at Buffalo Iron Works, Illinois Street. Local poets and performers are gathering for a spoken word show that also includes projection, light, music, and sound. Collaborative works will create a united show. Featured performers are Brandon Williamson, creator of the Pure Ink Poetry Slam and Buffalo Slam Master, writer and teaching artist Robin Lee Jordan, poet Delia El-Wadi, spoken word poet and educator Marquis 10,000 Burton, poet and playwright Justin Karcher, writer and performer Megan Kempler, and writer and poet Ben Brindise. Doors open at 6. The show's from 7 to 9. Tickets are $30 in advance, $35 at the door. Niagara County Italian Festival, Friday through Sunday at the Academy Park, Lewiston. There will be lots of Italian food, of course, but also bocce, cultural performances, and classic car show. Each day features open bocce starting at 10. Classic car show, cultural performers including Italian dancers, live music, and plenty of Italian food. No dogs or coolers allowed. Hours are noon to 10, Friday and Saturday, 10 to 10 next Sunday. Flicks on Old Falls Street. 8 p.m. Saturday through August 29th at Old Falls Street, Niagara Falls. Free family film series starts at dusk. Concessions will be sold. Seating will be available, but you can bring blankets and chairs. Here is the remainder of the July schedule. Wicked on Saturday, Wicked for Good on July 25th. Quick calendar. Taste of Buffalo continues today from 11 to 7 along Delaware Avenue near Niagara Square toward Chippewa. Macedonian Festival continues today at St. Cyril and Methody Macedonian Orthodox Church, Lake Avenue, Blaisdell. Grease Pole Festival Friday through Sunday at Augustine Eventually Community Center, Swan Street. St. John Paul II Parish Lawn Fete 5 to 11 Friday and Saturday, noon to 6 next Sunday at Lakeview Road, Lakeview. Live music daily, Cruise Night Classic Car Show on Friday at Chicken Barbecue next Sunday. Buddy Guy, 7 p.m. Saturday in Kleinhans Music Hall. Fractured String Quartet, 7 p.m. Saturday, Arts Cafe, East Spring Street, Springville. Pappy Martin's Legacy Maston Jazz Festival, 2 to 8 next Sunday, and July 26th on the Buffalo Museum of Science lawn, Humboldt Parkway. Burger Fest, 11 to 10 Saturday along Main and Buffalo Streets, Hamburg. Just announced, I Love R&B Party, 8 p.m. September 11th, Town Ballroom, Main Street. Ron White, 8 p.m. November 7th at the Seneca Niagara Event Center, Niagara Falls. The Rival Sons with the Bluestones and the Velveteers, 6:30 November 24th at the Town Ballroom. Brain Damage, a tribute to Pink Floyd, 7:30 October 16th at the Western Riviera Theater, North Tonawanda. Piff, the Magic Dragon, multiple shows, January 21st to the 24th in the Avalon Theater, Niagara Falls View Casino, Niagara Falls, Ontario. Western Riviera Theater. Just announced. Mike's Super. The Fifth Dimension Show, February 6th. ABBA Mania, March 11th and 12th. The following are on sale now. Tickets. The Gambler returns July 17th. Green Today, July 18th. Back to the Future, July 22nd. Montgomery Gentry and featuring Eddie Montgomery, August 6th. Sugar Hill Gang, Furious, August 8th. Bruce Hornsby and the Noisemakers, August 11th. E.T., the Extraterrestrial, August 12th. Barry Manilow, August 14th. DSL, Dire Straits Legacy, August 15th. Sinatra and Streisand, August 21st. Queen Nation, August 28th, 29th, and 30th. And Shady, live tribute to Eminem, September 11th. You are listening to reading of articles and features from the July 12th issue of the Sunday Gusto. Books. July reads. These 16 new titles include romance, mystery, fantasy, nonfiction, and more by Eric Penderson and Sarah Batcha. The best part of summer reading is that you can read anything, and the most challenging part, what will you choose? Here are 16 books coming out this month that offer a little bit of everything: romance, literary fiction, fantasy, mystery, nonfiction, and more. Available now. Habits of the Sea by Shay Earnshaw. In her second dive into adult novels, Earnshaw brings together folklore, magical realism, and romance to a mystical island off the coast of Nova Scotia. Habits of the Sea follows a woman as she finds an island with a single occupant that vanished when she was a child. Love You More by Emily Griffin. A successful, newly engaged New York doctor is living life to the fullest, having finally moved on from the man she left behind in Wisconsin. And then, after a decade, that long-lost love calls, and she finds herself heading back to her hometown. The Red Sacrament by Sarah Hinckley. A troupe of performing vampires in a Parisian theater during the 19th century may sound like something straight out of an Anne Rice novel, but the debut novel from Hinckley promises much more. Country People by Danielle Mason. Mason, a Stanford University faculty member in psychiatry and Pulitzer Prize-nominated novelist, follows up his acclaimed North Woods with a campus novel in which a visiting professor and her husband trek to a college set in the woods of Vermont. Hide and Seek by Søren Seistrup. In this Nordic thriller, which is featured in the second season of the Netflix series The Chestnut Man, based on his novel of the same name, Seistrup brings back detectives Naya Tulin and Mark Hess to find a missing woman with connections to a cold case. Available July 14th. The Intrigue by Silvia Moreno Garcia del Rey. From the author of Mexican Gothic and The Bewitching comes The Intrigue, a historical noir about a con artist who gets more than he bargained for when he teams up with a woman to steal his aunt's money. With themes of greed and seduction, nothing is all it seems in the author's latest. White Rabbit by Abigail Rose Marie. A young girl finds an unexpected companion in the ghost of poet Sylvia Plath as she learns to navigate grief for her father, who's gone, and also her mother, whose mourning has made her withdraw into her own world. The Dragon Has Some Complaints by John Wiswell. A dragon with 3 heads, each of which has its own personality, wanders into a Dragon Rider Academy. An epic adventure and hilarity ensue. You're welcome. Up All Night, A World History of Nightlife by Imogene Willits. What are some people doing while we're at home reading? They're out experiencing the nightlife, and historian Willits gets the festivities started in 17th century Japan before party hopping through Georgian England, Jazz Age New York City, and LA in the 2000s, among other hotspots. Available July 21st. By Carry Me to My Grave by Christopher Golden. How far would you go to carry out your mother's dying wish? In Carry Me to My Grave, Malcolm must battle the demons of his mother's past, literally to return her body to her birthplace. The Biggest Lie, The Prehistory of American Fascism, 1818 to 1915, by Joseph Kelly. Historian Kelly looks back to examine the roots of fascism as it courses through the antebellum and Jim Crow era South and on through 20th century nationalism and pre-World War II Nazi sympathizers. The Witch Below the Dreaming Wood by H.G. Perry. Could King Arthur save Britain from World War II? How about Nimue, the Lady of the Lake from Arthurian legends? A librarian in 1941 Wales is about to find out in this historical fantasy from the New Zealand author. Tin Can Coast, A History of Industry, Greed, and Fishing in the Golden State by Joseph Ogilvy. Ogilvy's history explores the ocean of riches that lies off the coast of California, including the Channel Islands and the myriad ways fishing, canning, and commerce have affected and at times exploited the ecosystem and the people doing the work over the past few hundred years. Yellow Pine by Claire V. Watkins. The acclaimed novelist follows up her previous novels, Gold Famed Citrus and I Love You, But I've Chosen Darkness, with a story set in the Mojave Desert in which a woman's hard-won peace is tested after a former flame comes back into her life. Cool Machine by Colson Whitehead. The two-time Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist returns with the final installment of his Harlem trilogy, which opens up in 1981 as Ray Carney aims to balance his life as a successful furniture salesman with the criminal itch that leads him into the literary underworld of New York City. Available July 28th, Getting Away with Murder by Sherry Lapina. In the 10th thriller from Lapina, a New York City couple seems to have it all, including a beautiful home that they've completely transformed into a magazine-ready example of wealth and taste. Then money troubles hit, and they begin formulating a plan that may involve murder. Television. Back to the Prairie. New Little House offers a grittier portrait by Bruce Miller. There were more than 200 episodes of Little House on the Prairie, but there's more story to tell, producers say. In the new version streaming on Netflix, executive producer Rebecca Sonnenschein went back to the books and discovered there's a grittier story to tell, a story that Michael Landon had in mind. What we're really doing is embracing a very humanistic approach to the show. We really lean into creating fully realized characters, people that you want to know, people that you want to root for, people who are trying to make the best of the future. The girls, Mary and Laura, aren't always chummy and supportive. The people you love the most are the people you hurt the most sometimes, says Crosby Fitzgerald, who plays Ma Ingalls. There's nothing more realistic than tension in the family. Ma and Pa, played by Luke Bracey, are more affectionate than Michael Landon and Karen Grassel ever were. It's all really clear on the page, Fitzgerald said. One of the things we connected to was this couple is the couple you strive to be. They fight, but the love is always the strongest thing, and the thing they come back to. Before they wind up in Walnut Grove, Minnesota, the Ingalls family stakes a claim in Kansas and struggles to get their farm off the ground. The intention is to follow the book, Sonnenschein says. They moved around a lot, and yes, they will get to Minnesota eventually. When Alice Hazley was called back for an audition to play Laura, I read the entire series of books, she said. I just wanted to understand who Laura really was, or who my version of Laura would be. When she got a chemistry read with Bracey Fitzgerald and Skywalker Hughes, who plays Mary, she was smitten. And then they told me that I got the part and I cried, Hazley said. It's been one of the best experiences my entire life, and I feel so privileged to be part of the Little House world. Gracie says the casting works because the actors embody the character attributes. Crosby's an amazing Caroline because she's got a giant heart. She cares about everyone around her. And that's what Caroline does in these stories, she says. Pa really brings a sense of security, not because he's like, I'm dad, you've got to listen to me, but he wants to do his best. And that is Luke, Fitzgerald says. Fitzgerald says, Gracie made me cry every night telling me how proud he is of me. Finding that goodness was important for the show's producers, Sun and Shine says. When the family encounters members of an Osage tribe, their minds are opened up, he says. And that's what this show is all about, being part of a community, getting to know people you haven't known before, and becoming part of a larger story of America. When the actors tell others they're part of Little House on the Prairie, they are greeted warmly. For me, it's a real privilege to be part of a world and to play a man who's a good man, Gracie says. I feel lucky that I'm able to be part of something that is nice that we get to give the world. Now working on season 2 of Little House, Sun and Shine says the goal is to bring a new season each year, and yes, follow the Ingalls family as it moves across the Midwest. When there's so much chaos in the world, coming back to what really matters is what's appealing, Sun and Shine says. Being able to tell stories in the framework of love is a real honor for all of us. Little House on the Prairie is now streaming on Netflix. Taste. Indigo. Restaurant news. Indigo Chapel replaces Tabernacle on the west side. The Tabernacle was one of a kind and short-lived. It opened inside a former Grant Street church in 2018 and closed a couple of years later because of the pandemic. It served as Buffalo's own unlikely low-budget version of the Sistine Chapel, as former news artist critics Colin Depkowski put it. If the Sistine Chapel was a bar and music venue, and if Michelangelo had more psychedelic taste, for it to be closed to the public is like throwing an enormous church-sized towel over a mural. It demands to be seen. Burke reopened the Tabernacle space as cocktail bar Indigo Chapel in June. Burke studied painting at SUNY Buff State and has spent his career tending bar and working at local concert venues. He appreciates artist Jeremy Twist's psychedelic Sistine Chapel. Burke didn't want to open just any bar. He wanted this one. He's had his eye on it for 5 years. Art's a big deal to me, so I was like, oh, a venue that is close by, adorned in art, and has a stage venue. It was everything I ever wanted. Burke preserved Twist's artwork. It looks just like it used to on the outside, like a Mackenzie Child ceramic, and on the inside. The bar is as tall and boxy as a gymnasium. Twist painted each ceiling and wall panel as its own piece of art, though they bleed into each other narratively. Vibrant shades of orange and indigo blue give the space an immortal aesthetic. No one could ever accuse this decor of being copied from Pinterest. Among the artwork, you'll spot a sumo wrestler, aliens, a lion, and nude, flailing men. All Burke did was add more soundproofing. The origin story is as compelling as the art. Not even Twist knew he could paint when he got the job. He had been working as a burnt-out cook in Prish Moran's cafe, Sweetness 7. Moran took him out of the kitchen and hired him to paint the building next door to become a bar. She had no idea that Twist would paint a Sistine Chapel. She told me in 2018. I didn't know what to say. I started laughing. I actually started crying. The first thing I said was, there are breasts on my ceiling. And he said, you told me I could do what I wanted. Burke aims to create a neighborhood cocktail bar and low-key event venue with Indigo Chapel, striking the balance between highbrow and humble. We light things on fire. we do weird ingredients, Burke said. He learned from the team at Elmwood Village Cocktail Bar, High Violet, and his bar manager, Jonathan Wolf, still works at High Violet. Burke and Wolf make their own syrups and liquor infusions. They squeeze their own lemon and lime juices. Indigo Chapel also serves well drinks for $6, beer and cider for $4 to $7, and wine $6 to $8 a glass, or $18 to $25 a bottle. Of the cocktail menu, the Empress is a purple Tom Collins made with butterfly pea infused gin for $13. The Aerofant is a tart and frothy mezcal sour with lavender simple spirit and violet liquor for $13. Strength for $14 is a bourbon cocktail with Campari chocolate liqueur, caramelized banana, sweet vanilla liqueur, and absinthe rinse. Head chef Shane Smith III is working in the kitchen while on summer break from his teaching job at Hilbert College. The food menu is simple, limited by the bare bones kitchen. The produce comes from neighborhood grocer Guercio and Sons. Highlights include potato chips drizzled with cheddar sauce, bacon, and indigo alloy, a mayonnaise, mustard, and blueberry preserve sauce. Smith uses the alloy again on his beef on weck spin. The indigo. Smith follows his Polish grandmother's mac and cheese recipe. He drenches swirly cavatappi pasta in a Gouda cheddar parmesan and caramelized onion cheese sauce. The place is obviously very interesting and artful, Smith said. I wanted to make a menu that was surrounding that as well. Indigo Chapel has karaoke on Tuesday and trivia on Wednesday. Soon Burke plans to start a weekly artist showcase on Thursdays. Twiz will be the first artist to kick off the series. Live music on Fridays and alternating events such as a DJ or burlesque on Saturdays. The place sells itself in terms of looks and aesthetics, Burke said. All you have to do is provide a good time and people come back. Indigo Chapel is open from noon to 1, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and noon to 2 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Food events. The 6th annual Jamaican Market, organized by local restaurateur and chef Darian Bryan and his sister Cherise Lewis, returns from 3 to 8 July 18th in Larkin Square, Seneca Street. There will be food, vendors, and live music. Admission is free. The Niagara County Italian Festival returns from 10 to 10, July 17th through the 19th at the Academia Park, Center Street, Lewiston. There will be games, eating contests, music, and Italian foods, such as stuffed peppers, pizzas, pastries, Italian sausage, and eggplant parm. The Buffalo Italian Heritage Festival returns the following weekend from 11 to 9:30, July 24th and 25th, and 11 to 7, July 26th. Chef Marco Scatornino of Marco's on Niagara Street will host cooking demonstrations. There will also be a cheese stacking contest, grape stomping, traditional Italian foods, a Sicilian puppet show, and Italian-American performances. Taste. Sweet and tart. Easy lemon blueberry crisp. This blueberry crisp captures the perfect balance between sweet summer blueberries and tart lemon flavors. Topped with a strudel laced with warming spices and baked to perfection, this is the perfect summer dessert paired with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Frozen blueberries work well too because they retain more liquid and are a little less sweet than fresh berries. Be sure to increase the flour and sugar by 1 tablespoon each with the filling. Ingredients: baking spray with flour, 4 cups of fresh or thawed and drained frozen blueberries, 1½ tablespoons of grated lemon zest plus more for garnish, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1 to 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour plus a fourth of a cup divided, 2 to 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar divided, 3/4 cup of old-fashioned rolled oats, 1/2 cup of whole wheat flour, 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar, half teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of ground cinnamon, quarter teaspoon of ground ginger, 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, cubed and at room temperature. Preheat oven to 375, lightly coat 8-inch square baking dish with baking spray. Toss blueberries, lemon zest, lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of the flour, 1 tablespoon of the granulated sugar together in a large bowl until evenly combined. Whisk oats, whole wheat flour, brown sugar, cinnamon. Bake until the crumb mixture is golden brown. The blueberry mixture is bubbly around the edges. 35 to 40 minutes. Italian Trio. Pasta recipes you will want to make or on repeat by Robin Miller. Bolognese. Bolognese is the quintessential beef ragu consisting of ground beef, aromatic vegetables like onions, carrots, and celery, and herbs. Some recipes also call for pork, milk, or cream. Traditionalists assert that bolognese is not heavily tomato-based, though many recipes call for tomatoes in some form, from whole canned tomatoes that you crush with your hands to tomato sauce puree or paste. What follows is the easiest, fastest recipe for satisfying meaty pasta sauce that's also excellent with rice potatoes. Pesto pasta. This dish features tender noodles and a satiny basil pesto sauce, topped with bright blistered tomatoes. Each bite delivers a perfect balance of savory and sweet, and it couldn't be easier to prepare. To round out this meal, I suggest serving your pesto pasta with a crisp salad and a warm crusty bread. Carbonara. Tender strands of pasta swirled with creamy eggs, 2 types of cheese, and crispy bacon. Classic carbonara isn't just comforting, it's incredibly easy to make in under 30 minutes. When the pasta is tossed with eggy cheese sauce, the noodles quickly soak up every drop. For this reason, this dish is best served right away. One egg, 3 large egg yolks, 1/3 cup of grated pecoria cheese, 1/3 cup of grated Parmesan, salt and pepper, extra virgin olive oil, 4 ounces thick cut bacon, 12 ounces of spaghetti. Chop the fresh Italian parsley for serving. Fill a large shallow serving bowl with hot water and set aside. In the medium bowl, whisk together the egg yolks, Parmesan cheeses, season with a pinch of salt. Heat the oil in a large skillet over medium heat. Add the bacon and cook until the fat is rendered. The bacon is crisp. Bring a large pot of salted water to a boil. Add the spaghetti and cook according to the package directions until al dente. Drain the pasta, reserving 1 cup of pasta cooking water. Whisk 1 to 2 tablespoons of pasta cooking water into the egg mixture. If necessary, reheat the skillet with the bacon over medium heat. Drain the serving bowl of hot water. Immediately add the spaghetti, bacon, and egg, and 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup of the remaining pasta cooking water. Toss to combine, adding more pasta water if necessary for creaminess. Top with parsley and serve. To store leftovers, transfer your carbonara in an airtight container and refrigerate for up to 3 days. Carbonara is still delicious when reheated in a large saucepan with a little water. You have been listening to a reading of articles and features from the July 12th issue of the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News. Your reader has been Michelle. Thank you for listening.
Hello, listeners. Your Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service would like to thank everyone who supported Summer Bash 2026. Our largest fundraiser of the year was an opportunity to celebrate the amazing team of 160 volunteers who produce all of Radio Reading's programming, and it was very important toward continuing our mission of serving you, our listeners. If you weren't able to join us, there's another important way to support Radio Reading's free 24/7 programming on air and online. It's Give 716. Give 716 is an online fundraiser sponsored by the Buffalo Bills and Buffalo Sabres Foundations. The unique thing about Give 716 is all the prizes and matching grants available. You'll find a complete list on our Facebook page, but here's what I suggest to make your donation go farther. Mark your calendar for Thursday, July 16th from 8 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. If you make any size donation to Radio Reading on Thursday, July 16th from 8 p.m. to 11:59 p.m., we'll automatically enter you in a drawing for a pair of Buffalo Bison's tickets, redeemable for a Tuesday through Thursday home game before August 31st. If you donate $50 or more, you'll also receive your choice of a Buffalo Bills, Sabres, or Bandits pendant and a chance to win an even grander golden ticket one-of-a-kind experience from the Bills and Sabres, like tickets, private tours, and autographed team merchandise. You can go to give716.org anytime before July 17th to make a donation to Radio Reading. Make a donation on Thursday, July 16th from 8 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. to win the extra prizes. That website again is give716.org. Search for your Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service and make a very important donation supporting our future. That's give716.org, and thank you very much.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the front section of the Sunday Times. At 2 o'clock, we have the New York Times Opinion section. And at 3 o'clock, we have the New York Times Arts and Leisure section. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. If you're listening to this publication online, you're probably using our website, a podcast player like Spotify or iTunes, a streaming service like Siro, or a smart speaker. Did you know that we now have a dedicated app that can be downloaded to any mobile device, like a smartphone or tablet, for free? App users can conveniently access our live stream and any episode of our podcast easier than ever. To download the app, just type NFRRS in the search window in the Apple App Store or in the Google Play Store. Contact us anytime if you have any questions by calling 716-821-5555, extension 5. Thank you. You're listening to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. As of this year, our agency has broadcast more than 300,000 hours of radio readings. Volunteer radio readers read newspapers, magazines, and books to area people who are blind or have a print disability, who are provided reading radios. Radio Reading's broadcast signal is provided at no charge by WNED. Radio Reading broadcasts from studios at 1199 Harlem Road in suburban Buffalo. Please let others know about Radio Reading. It's your service. For more information on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, call 716-821-5555. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which makes reading,